Hi everybody, Denise FARQUHARSON here from Denise FARQUHARSON Coaching. I hope you're good. I hope you're well, and welcome again to our Summer in Rome, day 11 today. So we're almost halfway through. What's this all about? 21 days of inspiration, motivation to help you just stretch a little bit more, understand some of the things that are going on with yourself a little bit more. Delve a little bit deeper into what may be happening in your team and around you in your family, so that you become much more of a focused person who can become just looking very particularly at some of the areas of your life that may need a little bit of attention, because we all need some kind of personal development. And Romans chapter 12 is rich, super rich in a lot of these particular topics. And it's about pride, it's about talent, skills, ability. Yesterday we talked about love, we talked about evil, we talked about actually kindness. And today is about lazy. Are you lazy or demotivated? That's the question. And apologies, I feel a bit close to this plant right here, and I'm trying to avoid that beautiful sunshine coming through. Can you see that? We have sunshine, but I'm going to stand here because I've just got this ray going right across my eyes. So let's get started. And thank you so far for all of your comments, your messages, your updates that you've been sending me. I really do appreciate it. I really, really do. So please don't stop, because what's happening is, as well as me seeing it, actually other people are connecting and looking and being inspired by what you are sharing as well. So please don't stop doing that. Put as many comments as you like below. Good examples of how you're delivering some of these great points. And actually that will help other people learn, oh, that's a really good idea and I'm going to do it. Okay, so that's a really good reason why you should just continue doing that. And let me make sure I've got all the comments in the right place. Yes, I think I can see those coming through. Right, Romans chapter 12 verse 1. Today it's about not slothful in business, but fervent in spirit, serving the Lord. I'll repeat that. Not slothful in business, but fervent in spirit, serving the Lord. Now, the interesting thing about this, and I am going to use my notes today because I've got quite a few notes for you actually, but I won't take very long. And it's about the fact that, hi Rahila, it's about the fact that every single one of us who are in a corporate world, especially myself, I'm niching right now with corporate Christian women, that corporate world is still a business world. It's still ultimately to create a product or to create a service. And how are we doing that? Are we being slothful in creating a product, or are we slothful in creating a business? Which one? And so I want you to think about it from that perspective. Also, it's the direction in terms of laziness. Slothfulness is about being lazy. It's also one of the 7 deadly sins. I'll cover that later, all right? And it's interesting because at least 4 religions, I think it's the Christianity, Buddhism, Islam, and it might be the Hindu religion, all of them cover slothfulness and say how awful it is. And the fact that we've just read that, not slothful in business, because that's not effective. You should not be slothful in business, but there are reasons why. And I'm going to cover that a little bit as well. But if you think about the human condition, the fact that, I bet you can tell me, just say yes or no, I don't want their names. Do you know someone in your team that you would class as lazy? Simple as that, yes or no. And if you're watching this on replay, just put #replay and just tell me, yes, I have someone who's lazy, or no, nobody in our team is lazy whatsoever. They are all super amazing. That would be great, all right? But do let me know, because there's always someone that you look at in the team or in the department and you think, my gosh, why don't you just pull your socks up? Why don't you just get going? Why don't you just get started? Why don't you finish that particular activity or task? And it frustrates us if we have people around us who are lazy. Now, if there's nobody in your team who are like that and everybody's on the ball and with it, then think about your own family, and potentially there may well be someone in your family who you think, oh my goodness, they are so slothful, so lazy. And it's not great to be in that position, really, where that's happening. Because again, we can judge people, and we don't really want to judge people. Judging's not great. It's not a nice thing to do. But there's always a reason for the laziness, okay? There is always a reason for the laziness. So Rahila's saying there, yes. I guess you're answering my first question probably, Rahila. Yes, you know somebody who's definitely lazy, either in your department, your team, or your family, okay? I have, okay, I can definitely, they might shoot me after this, but yes, I definitely have got some in my family and some in my team, a department as well, who I think, oh, come on, pull it together, come on, do something, right? So it's a human condition that's around, and the fact that 4 religions talk about it makes you think, there you go, all right? But I want to just cover 2 things that can actually cause laziness. The first one is about motivation. And often people are lazy because they have not yet tapped into what creates that laziness. Why are they being lazy? And it's because they are demotivated. When somebody's demotivated, it's because whatever the task or activity is, it's not capturing or igniting that motivation button. Everybody has a motivation button, and my motivation button for doing something is very different from your motivation button for doing something. And there are 7 types. When I usually deliver this, I usually talk about there are 7 types of motivation buttons, so to speak, that you can press to get you on track, motivated, passionate, and full of determination to complete something or carry out a task. And often that motivation button is not there for some people who are lazy or slothful. But once they can work out what it is, or once you can help them work out what it is, that can make such a difference. All right. So what is that motivation button for that particular person that you're thinking of, either in your family or in your department or in your team or in your business team? And when I talk about the motivation button, what I'm referring to here are things like, are they enthused by other people working with them? That can be a motivation button for some people. Are they enthused by having the carrot, i.e. the reward, the monetary reward? Or it doesn't have to always be monetary reward. It can also be benefits as well. Hi, Heather. Lovely to see you. And we're talking about motivation buttons right now, which is causing people to be lazy, right? And so some people, it might be a social situation that's causing them to be not motivated. For some people, it can be the reward isn't good enough. For some people, £100 or dollars is great. For other people, they want 1,000. For some other people, they need 100,000. Everybody's got their own different motivation button, okay? For some people, it can be the stick. You know the thing about the donkey? Do they run because of the stick beating them behind? Or are they motivated because of the carrot that you're offering them? And for some people, it can sometimes be that they require that stick. And that's what causes their laziness as well. For some people, it can be, actually, I want to add value to the world. I want to be seen to not needing a reward. I don't need money. I don't need carrots and stick or anything like that. I just want to tick the box that I'm doing my bit for the world. And that can be a strong motivation button for some people as well, and get rid of their laziness. And there are another 3 also that, you know, where there are people like, I often think of David Attenborough, who are just genuinely always seeking for that next bit of information about the planet and what he can learn and share with the world about the planet, about animals, about the universe, etc., etc., etc. Just that deep down passion. Again, some people who are lazy have not yet either found that, or the task or the activity that they're trying to do does not help them to achieve that. And that can sometimes cause the laziness as well. And therefore they become slothful in business, like the sloth, just lazing around. And they may not be literally sitting in a tree like the sloth, but they may not complete their tasks. They may not necessarily speak up. They may not necessarily be the ones who perform at a high level within your team or within your business. So just bear that in mind as well. And it's a bit like there can be two extremes. You can have somebody washing the dishes. You can have somebody trying to do a project plan. It's still a motivation button. It's still a motivator. And you can be lazy about washing your dishes, or you can be lazy about completing your project. But what you've got to think of is, why is that laziness there? And sometimes if the motivation button isn't there, therefore the goal isn't there, the vision isn't there. So somebody doesn't want a clean sink. Somebody's not bothered about a clean sink. They're not bothered about the smell, and they're not bothered about having to wash that plate or fork or knife for the next day. It's not an issue for them, and it's not a driver. For the project plan, it's not the outcome of that project. It's not the overall vision, the overall goal, the final product or the final service. It's not driving their motivation at all. So is any of this making sense? Let me know. Or any questions so far about those motivation buttons? You probably know what drives you. And if not, I'll probably do another session another time about what those 7 are and how those 7 motivation buttons can actually lead you, guide you and direct you to your vision, to your goal, and to the desire that you need to have for an activity or a task. Because we need it every day, or else we will become those slothful in business people, which Romans 12 is highlighting that we shouldn't be, really. The second thing that, so just to cover something off, both of those have the results. If you wash the dishes, you still get a result. If you finish the project plan, you still get a result. But not doing it is down to the fact that something is not driving that goal. Simple as that. So the second thing that can cause the laziness is your physical health. And often a lot of people have chemical imbalances. They do. And whether it's thyroid, whether it's dopamine and other hormones, these things can affect how we physically feel, and therefore what next steps we take, how passionate we are about doing things, how active we are, and how much we perform as well. And that can show up in your business team. That can show up in your family. So if you are highlighting and seeing that this is going on, the lazy and the demotivation, then actually you may well want to look at the physical health of that particular family member or team member. So what can we do about all this? It says not being slothful in business, but be fervent in spirit, serving the Lord. Now that last part is so important, because fervency is all about passion. It's all about zeal. It's all about enthusiasm. So think about the task that potentially you might be feeling a little bit lazy over. What is the zeal that you're going to stir up? What is the enthusiasm around that particular task, or the passion that you need to find for that particular task? And then I want you to think about serving the Lord is actually related back to what we talked about in verse 6. Everybody, especially you ladies, awesome in talent, skills, abilities. And therefore, if you've been given that to serve the world, whoever that might be, whichever capacity it might be in, then actually you are committing to and being that transformed person, and not just being conforming to the world. And that's so important that you remember that, because you're not here just to sit still. You're here to develop, you're here to serve, you're here to impact the people around you in your team, your business, your family, or your community. So have a look at that fervency that you've got. That's one of the reasons why there is a solution to this, and the solution is actually in the verse. Be fervent in spirit, serving the Lord. So stir up that passion, that heat, that fire, that fervency that you need, and the enthusiasm for doing something. Laziness will go out the window, motivation will rise up, and you will be just as amazing as you already are anyway. All right. And so for those of you who said earlier, yes, I do know somebody who's lazy. either in your team or business or family, actually that could be down to those two things. How motivated they are, what's their motivation buttons, and then what is their physical health, because that could potentially be affecting them. All right. So if there's no further questions or comments, I'm going to finish on that. It was great to be with you. If you are watching this on replay, put hashtag replay, ask any questions you like, and hopefully this will give you some insight into what to do next, and maybe think about your motivation buttons slightly differently. Think about maybe areas of laziness that you might have. We've all been there sometimes where we just cannot be bothered. But there's always a reason why we feel like that and often say that. So let's look into that as well. All right. So catch you tomorrow. Tomorrow is day 12. We're halfway through to our 21 days of summer in Rome. It's great to be with you, and I will see you tomorrow, 5 o'clock. Take care. Bye-bye.